Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. And in today's video, I want to be talking about the number one thing that you guys need to pay attention to when it comes to Season 10 and one of the recent updates, because this is going to be something that changes the game for everybody, and just something you guys have to know about, especially if you guys want to win as many gunfights as possible here for Season 10. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and as well subscribe to my second channel. The link for that will be in the description or the pinned comment. Turn on my post notifications and as well comment down below your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, if you guys would like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do is go over to the item shop, go down to support a creator, type in my code is YoungHumor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator. I really do appreciate all you guys who do add me. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I definitely want to specifically be talking about the recent update they made to turbo building, where when it comes to placing the same wall, they changed the delay on that. So basically, turbo building works just how it used to be when it comes to the same wall. If you try to place it again, basically what happens is it gives you I think it's like a 0.15 second delay, which basically means if someone tries to take your wall, it's a 50-50 chance that they can take it. And I think this is a really important thing to talk about, because this really is a game changer, especially for every single player in this game. Because when it comes to taking walls, it used to be very difficult, because if the other player is behind the wall holding turbo build, you're pretty much impossible to grab the wall unless they held off turbo build or for whatever the reason you were able to get the wall. But now it's a 50-50 chance, which means if someone's trying to take your wall, probably about the third break, the chances are they're going to have the wall by at least the second or third time. And this is something that's really important, because when it comes to getting off heals, you used to be able to box up, especially if in duos, you and your teammate are in the game, you get really weak, you box in and you wait for your teammate to come by, you try to get off your heals. But nowadays they can easily just take your wall very easily. And this is just definitely something to consider and something that needs to be talked about. So the first thing you can do that's really can be a crucial thing is to make sure when you're in the box, especially if you have someone on the outside trying to break in, that you place a ramp on the inside. And once you're behind the ramp, it does protect you from fire, but of course they can just make a window and spray at you. But as long as you're behind the ramp turbo building that, you should be able to at least block off a lot of the fire, because like I said, turbo building doesn't it's a little bit of a delay when it comes to the same place, so they're going to be able to at least, so if they are shooting at you, they're going to be able to shoot right through your ramp. Sometimes they get a few tags on you, so if you are one shot, that's definitely something to consider, because they're just going to spray right through you. And even if they're not specifically trying to take your wall, like I said, if you are one shot, you definitely for sure have to place that stair, because they can easily get shots through the wall, because there is a little bit of a delay. So if they have an SMG and they're just going to be spraying through the wall, then you do have to consider that as well, because I've gotten tagged so many times. I remember when it first came out, I was super confused. I was on 0 ping and I got straight up shot through my wall. And this is the reality of it now, because when you have an SMG, the turbo building isn't going to catch up with it a lot of times. So if you have a gun like a minigun, it's just even more overpowered. You can easily get tags of 20 over and over again through the other player's wall, because turbo building is not going to allow them to build very fast. And personally, my favorite go-to move is the second they're on the outside of your wall when they're down below. I personally just go for high ground right away, because you're going to have that advantage, because the other player's going to be taking your wall on the same level as you, and you're already going to have that ramp there, so all you have to do is run up that ramp and then immediately go out through the top, and you're going to have high ground right away. Now, like I said, this is kind of tricky when you need to get heals off, just for the reason being, even if you do build up, which is I would recommend doing, you box in again, they can easily take your wall once again. But all you need, especially when it comes to minis, you only need 2 seconds. So a lot of times by getting high ground and giving yourself that little bit an advantage, if you catch them off guard enough, you can easily get off 1 or 2 minis before they're even next to your wall again, which is all the time you need, because a lot of times when you are boxing up, you just need to get off some sort of heals. But this definitely is tricky when it comes to different items like a campfire, because you can't just hold the wall. So campfires are pretty much useless, and you only really want to use them after a gunfight is finished, or unless you just need to get that little bit of HP off, because otherwise you're not going to be able to you're not even going to be able to get the at least a decent amount of campfire, because the second you do, what's going to happen is they're just going to edit your wall, take it, and then you're going to have to move regardless. So not the best idea to use campfires anymore, and medkits especially, you're not going to be able to get them off. So minis are going to be your go-to and pretty much the only item you're going to be able to get off. Maybe some chug splashes. They did change it in the update where chug splashes do take a little bit longer to throw. So you can definitely use chug splashes, just throwing multiple of them in a row, because like I said, they did nerf the amount of, it used to be like instantly you could throw a bunch of chug splashes down, but then now they made a little bit delay on it. It kind of screwed me over. When I was streaming, I tried to throw I tried to throw 2 chug splashes down. I ended up throwing 1 down. The other player got the wall, edited it, and then tagged me before I could even get my second one down. So if you are going against a really good player, a lot of times they can easily take advantage of that if you are throwing multiple chug splashes down. So the best way to do is to throw one down, see how the other player reacts. If you have enough time, throw another one down, and that's just going to be the best way to go about it when it comes to getting off that specific heal. But one other thing that I definitely have to talk about, so when it comes to that update, it definitely forces you to play a lot faster than what you may normally feel. Because if you're boxed in at all, the other player can easily, with 1 or 2 tries, eventually enough tries, doesn't really take that much, but eventually they're going to be able to get your wall no matter what. So even if you are boxed in, you are forced to make a play, whether that go for high ground, maybe go for a shot, really depends on what you're trying to do. But that definitely forces you to make a play, and a lot of times that could force you to make a play a lot faster than what you're used to. So you do have to consider that as well, and it's definitely something to keep in mind, because if you are used to playing a little bit slower and a little bit more passive, this is going to be a huge change for you guys, because you're going to have to make a lot of quick decisions, because if someone's right outside of your box, you have to make a decision, because otherwise they're going to get their wall within probably 2 to 3 seconds, give or take, but they're going to get it very quick, and you're going to have to make a play. And if they have the wall, then you either have to move out to a different box, have to go for a high ground, or maybe go for a shot. Those are pretty much the only options you have. So for those of you guys who do play a little bit on the slower and more passive side, you really do have to watch out for this change, because it will force you to play a lot faster than usual, which is not a bad thing for me personally. I love playing very fast, but sometimes it can screw me over when I'm trying to get a heal off. But you for sure have to make a really quick decision when something like that happens. So I think this update really is a game changer in a lot of aspects. I think it definitely should be talked about a lot more, just because this really changes so much about the game and how it's played, because the playstyle you need to fight against is a lot different. And also, if you're on the other side, so maybe you get the other guy weak, and you're going against a player you can easily take their wall, this is something that I've been able to get so many countless kills on, especially on players who don't really know about the update too much. Like the newer players, if you're going against someone really good, then obviously you're not going to be able to just catch them off guard like that. But a lot of players that are maybe average to below average, I've seen it happen all the time, where they would hold down turbo build on their wall. I would take it, I would edit a window and take a shot on them, and they wouldn't even realize that I took the wall, just because they maybe didn't hear about the update, maybe they forgot about it. But it doesn't really matter. I take their wall, I go for a quick edit, and I hit them for like 120, 130 damage right off the bat. Super easy, and it's just something that they can't even see coming. So you can use that to your advantage quite a bit, because if you're going against a newer player who doesn't really know or didn't even read the patch notes, because this is something that I wouldn't even have known about if I didn't see the patch notes on it. So for the newer players that maybe didn't even see that, and they have no idea that it's even in the game, they just thought that they hold turbo build, they're not going to be able to get inside of their box, which used to be the case for so many seasons. But since they changed, you can easily just take their wall and catch them off guard so very easily. So you do have to keep that in mind when you are going against those type of players. So if you know you're going against a newer player and you get some damage on them, you can just for sure know that the second you get their wall, you can easily just take their wall, make a quick edit, get a shot on them, and then hit them for the maximum amount of damage and get a really easy elimination on that player. And I know when they first made the update and they completely screwed turbo building up, I think this is really what they intended to happen, because they really wanted to make a change, because people were complaining about ping having too much of an advantage, but honestly it really didn't. I play on 0 ping and it really wasn't. I guess when it comes to just like how the game feels, it definitely feels a lot smoother, but it wasn't I was just taking everyone's wall and it was like a complete total crazy advantage or anything like that. Not that I noticed, especially because I used to play on 20 ping and I played on 0. I didn't really notice that huge of a difference. But any sort of building change that Epic makes, I definitely think is worthy of talking about, because it's just something that's super important and really changes the game in the aspects of which is played. And with that being said, that's a wrap up for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my post notifications so you guys are notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.